Dude, this fucking hurt.
I told you, second day is the worst. 6 days, no fun either.
Are we doing rolling now?
Ready?
There it goes. Oh! Oh my gosh.
Hang on. Don't move, don't move. Here you go.
If I had $1 for every time I saw a fighter who I thought was actually good at Muay Thai, doing some dumbass exercise that only gets them sore or tired or injured, then I wouldn't be making this video. I would be out in the Bahamas drinking a pina colada on the beach with a gold digger right next to me who only loves me for my money. That's how often I see it. That's how much money I would have. And because of that, I am making this video. Now, who am I? Well, I'm Cam, and I've been doing Muay Thai for well over a year now. But I've actually been lifting weights for over 4 years. And within those 4 years, I've learned a lot about exactly which exercises you should be doing that will help you within the sport of Muay Thai, and what exercises will only end up in pain and misery and rest. Now, I've taken all of my knowledge about both Muay Thai and weightlifting and have created this video. I've made it into a kind of top 3 list of exactly what you should be doing in order to not end up like one of these injured fighters who waste their potential because they aren't informed of what they actually should be doing. In this video, we will be going over the difference in the actual mindset that you should be having while lifting, what exercises you should be doing, what exercises you should avoid, and at the end, I'll tell you exactly how to rest. And there may be an extra one at the end, but I don't know, we'll save that one for later. Now, what inspired me to make this video was actually my coach. But it wasn't a good inspiration, like, oh, I should be doing that differently. It was, oh, my coach doesn't actually know how to lift weights for Muay Thai. Now, don't get me wrong, my coach is a badass. If you don't know, he trains with Shevchenko. He gets her ready for her fights. And she is absolutely phenomenal in her striking. My coach is a G. We have UFC fighters coming in all of the time. We have Muay Thai fighters that come in all of the time. But the issue is, he doesn't know exactly what he should be doing while he's lifting. Now, I came across this video on Instagram of him lifting weights. And he does what are called stair sets. That's what he calls it. And stair sets are where you start at a very high weight. You do maybe like 10 reps. He was doing bench press. You start with high weight, you do 10 reps, and then you lower the weight by a little bit. You do 10 more reps, you lower it again by 10 more reps, and then you climb back up. So then you would add more weight, do 10 reps, you would add more weight, do 10 reps, and then add more weight, do 10 reps. And that's what's called a stair set. You start high, you go down, and then you come back up. So it's kind of like a V formation. And when I saw that, I got almost a little bit disappointed because I realized that there's no point in doing that. If you want to build actual endurance, then you have to be doing super high volume sets. You have to be doing a lot of reps with lighter weight. And if you want to, then you can even lower the weight and then keep on going to really feel the burn in your muscles so that in the later rounds, they can feel prepared, they can feel fresh. If you want to be building strength, actually building power that you need within a fight to make your opponent hurt, then you need to be doing a lot less reps, but a lot more weight. Now, the difference between these two is maybe doing 4 to 8 reps of super heavy weight for power, or doing maybe 20 to 30, or maybe even 40 if you're crazy, of lighter weight with more reps for endurance. Now, you see the reason now why it's so weird to start with a heavy weight and then go light and then go back high? Do you get what I'm saying? But he didn't know any better because he hasn't been lifting for as long as somebody like me. And I will tell you right now the reason why he made that mistake. Number 1, he didn't set an actual intention. Now, I don't know if you've ever known this. I don't know if anybody has ever told you this. But there is a difference between lifting weights for muscle and lifting weights for your actual sport. If you want to lift weights for your muscle, that's fine. And a lot of that muscle, a lot of that power will transfer over to your sport. But it's also very different to train for your sport, because that's where the real power is built. A lot of these fighters, they're not super jacked, even in the heavier weight classes, but they have the muscle where they need it. I use Alex Pereira as an amazing example because he's not super jacked. I mean, of course, he's a massive human being. He's like 6'5", but he has the power where he needs it. He has the hook, he has the cross, he's got the leg kicks, he's got everything. And that's why people are so terrified of him, because he has the right muscle. And this actually leads into the second topic, which is not doing sport-specific exercises. If you have decided, okay, I'm not going to be building muscle for the actual aesthetic, for the look, I'm going to be building muscle for the power, for the strength that it comes with, then you need to be doing exercises, only exercises that build on top of your sport. Now, how do you do that? What does that look like on a technical level? What that looks like is taking the fundamentals of the movements that you do within the sport, say a jab, it's this motion right here. So what we want to do is we want to take this motion and add resistance onto it. That's why we see a lot of the times people use resistance bands. They wrap it around their wrists and they do jabs like that, because that is how you add resistance to your sport-specific exercises. Same thing with kicks. If you want to get faster at doing a very specific type of kick, let's say it's either an axe kick or a teep or a right kick or a switch kick, they all have their very sport-specific things. And so what you need to be doing is taking that base exercise and adding resistance onto it. Now again, you can do this two types of ways. You can either train for the endurance aspect and go a lot less resistance but a lot higher reps, which is actually what I need because I'm a very strong individual, but I gas out quickly. So in that case, I would be doing a lot higher reps so that my body can get used to going for longer periods of time without getting tired. Now, I'm going to sound like a dick when I say this, but everybody at my gym says that I punch super hard, and that's because I actually have the power. But if you want this power, if you want the ability to hurt people and to be kind of scared of you a little bit, then you need to be doing a lot less reps with a lot more power, with a lot more strength, with more weight, with more resistance. Now, if you want very, very specific exercises that you should do, I have already made a blueprint for you, a video. I will link this video somewhere, wherever I can, and you should go watch that video to see exactly what exercises you can do as a Muay Thai fighter to gain that strength, to gain that power. Now, for the exercises that you shouldn't do, don't do any exercises that aren't sport specific. If you see a random bicep curl that looks cool, that actually builds up your biceps, don't do it, because there are pretty much no instances where we are bicep curling as Muay Thai fighters. But there are times, for example, where we are in the clinch, where I'm pulling down on the back of this guy's head, making sure that he can't build up a base, and I'm just kneeing the shit out of him. So what would be a good example of an exercise for that? Well, it would be one where I do pull-ups, but I do pull-ups in a very specific way. I grab the bar with the insides of my palms. Slowly let myself down and keep everything in here tight. I keep it close together because that's what replicates me pulling down on the back of this guy's head. I keep it tight and I pull up like that, making sure everything is strong so that when I do get to holding down on his head, it's strong. I've already trained for that.
Okay, what's up everyone? So, I'm going to show you a little trick, alright? What I like to utilize for pull-ups. So obviously there's many grips to the pull-up. The wide grip, the inside lat grip, the bicep grip. So I want to focus on the bicep grip right now. Bicep grips, a double hand, so this one and then this one, so 2 hands like that. Now when I go down, I want to emphasize the elbow coming in. So I'm almost trying to touch elbows. And I also want to extend the arm fully. So extend the arm fully and then come up, and as you come up, bring your elbows in, touching each other, trying to touch each other. You're not going to be able to touch each other. But I mean, what it does is it slows down the motion and it builds this inner part here incredibly. And also if you mimic a fight, if I'm here and I tuck my elbows in, 2 hands up, tuck the elbows in, everything in here is so tight and so solid that even if a shot does get through, it's like hitting a brick wall. So if you get the strength going through the mid-back and the mid-chest, while the elbows are in, look, you can even see through this big baggy jumper. The pecs are bleeding solid. But give that a shot anyway. Bicep pull-up with the elbows inwards. Boom. Mimicking the guard. Alright, good stuff. That's McGregor fast. That'll do. So bicep grips. Sometimes you have to warm the shoulders and the triceps up. Turn into it. Let the weight come on top of it. Just to get the arms used to that. Like that. Think about it. Your elbows are in. Right? Arms straight. Elbows in. See, they're not even coming in. But try and emphasize when you're going through the mid areas like here and above. And then back down as well. See how much slower it is.
Now, after you've gotten done with all of this training, you're going to need to recover. And so there is a very specific way I want you to recover. And honestly, it takes as much discipline as it does the actual training. It is my personal philosophy that you need to be resting as hard and as intensely as you are training. Now again, your training should replicate your resting. What this means is that if you've only done some pretty light activity, then you can keep on going. You can keep on training. But if you have gotten a lot of sparring in, if you have done a lot of drills, if you have ran a lot, if you have done a lot of this training, then you need to be resting very, very intentionally. You need to be very intentional with your resting. What that means is sleeping. Sleeping is one of, if not the best thing you can do for your body. It's literally how your body recovers itself. It's literally your body building itself back up. You don't even need to do anything for it. You could just lay in bed and listen to some fucking calming music or some shit. I don't know. Whatever you want to do. Another amazing thing is doing something like a sauna or a warm bath to really, really get the muscles flowing so that you can break down the scar tissue. Another amazing thing, I'm not going to say fucking eating well because everybody knows that shit. Sleeping, eating well, whatever. Rolling out your muscles. Be very, very specific. Very, very intentional. All right, so now those are all of my 3 tips that I've given you as to not get hurt, as to not get injured. But I told you at the beginning of the video that there would be an extra one. So here is the extra one. And it's actually something that I've never heard anybody talk about. This is a Cam Knows Muay Thai original idea. And it is the fact that you need to be using different mindsets when you are doing different exercises, when you are doing different sports. Now, I want you to think about during your training, while you're sparring, for example, you need to be very precise. You need to be thinking about what you're doing in that exact moment. You can't be all over the place. You have to be accurate. Okay, where do I want to get this guy? What position do I want to get this guy in? Do I want him to be in the corner? Do I want him to be on his back foot? Do I want him to be rotating this certain way so that I can kick him like this? You know what I mean? You need to be very, very specific. You can't just go in and just start throwing punches and using all of this force and all of this pressure, because that's how you get knocked the fuck out. We see it all the time. If you're ever in the gym, you see that shit all the time. People are genuinely getting hurt because they're just Worst part about it, that was me. Okay, but that's a story for another day. You need to be very, very accurate. But we don't need that mindset while we are lifting weights. We don't need to be accurate while we are lifting weights. Of course, we need form. We don't want to get injured, of course. But really in lifting, there are only two objectives. First objective, lower the weight. Bring the weight down. Second objective, push the weight back up. And those are our two objectives. We don't need to be thinking, all right, in which way should I move this weight? How deep should I bring it? How much force should I use? We don't need to be thinking about all this bullshit. Just bring it down as far as you can go and then lift it back up.
Everybody want to be a bodybuilder. Right. So nobody want to lift this heavy ass weight. Yo! I do it though! Yeah!
During lifting, we can be a lot more rugged, a lot more forceful. I need you to stop thinking like a Muay Thai fighter. I need you to start thinking like a bodybuilder when you're doing these exercises, when you're trying to build muscle. You need to start yelling and screaming and fucking grunting while you're lifting. You don't need to be so focused while you're lifting. You need to be just pushing through the weight. You need to be just going. All right. Those were all of my advice for Muay Thai, for not getting injured, for building muscle correctly, choosing the right exercises, choosing the right intentions, and resting properly with the right mindsets. If you want the exact blueprint I use for building muscle that actually helps me within Muay Thai, actually helps me destroy my sparring partners, destroying my opponents, then you should click on this video I just made. I'll put the link to it right now. With that being said, have a good one. And use this advice. Use it.